So we're going to be talking about binge eating, how to end it, what it does, what it is, and fuck the shame. We're clearing it out so you can get what you want. And if you struggle with binge eating, you're not alone. What's really cool about binge eating these days is that I hear a lot of women will just say it like they binged. And I'm not like happy that they binged, but I do appreciate that you're not so ashamed of it and you're not alone in hiding about it. It's almost like when the women know that they're turning to wine to cope, they usually don't say anything like, hey, I've been drinking again, or I started drinking again. What do I do? It's kind of like, and they're embarrassed and they're ashamed.
I was not supposed to be successful. Hey there, Casey Ship here, fitness model, hormone expert, and a master energy healer. I help goal-oriented women clear out the reason why nothing has worked and finally step into their purpose and get everything they've ever wanted.
So we're going to talk about binge eating, what it is, what it does, and how to stop it. You know, it comes up all the time, and I figure, like, why not do a video on this? I will start with what binge eating is, if you don't know specifically. There's anorexia, restriction, bulimia, binge, and a lot of women, men too, but I work with women. A lot of women tend to binge eat when they get dysregulated, stressed out. All that's going on really is that there's a discomfort. And they're trying to self-soothe, but we're going to talk about the deeper meanings of it. Maybe you'll have some light bulb moments. And in those light bulb moments, knowing that just sometimes shedding light on things clears it. Just being aware of it and causing you to have this new paradigm shift, this new perspective will do a lot of the work there. So here's the deal. I've watched women want to quit. I have multiple programs. I've got a business offer for business owners and coaches, consultants, and I show you how to create and or scale your business. We do marketing, sales, soul stuff like energetics, everything. And then we've got the mastermind, which is where you worked more intimately with me. It's more of a life coaching wholeness program, very geared towards your fitness, you know, where it's healing the root cause. We've got first steps to freedom. We've got Bad Bitch membership that has courses in there that you can do just that's going to clear things out, but you don't get as much one-on-one. We've got challenges. We've got low ticket offers where women come in and they coach themselves. They have some group support. They get the hormone resource and the food test resources. We've got a lot of different offers. And I've seen it firsthand when a woman will be doing great. And a lot of you are type A women, very strong-willed women. You got ambition. You want to do big things. And I'll watch what happens. You'll start wanting to quit. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Hey, can I just pause it? Hey, can I do this or whatever? And or you'll be highly emotional, like something's gone wrong or whatever. That's usually an indicator either they've already binged or they're about to. So they're usually in it when that happens. You know, I just can't do it. Usually that's when they're binging. So it's interesting that you want to quit the thing and you think you're not cut out for it. At the same time, you're really struggling with other things. And you've got to start putting two and two together. And that's something that I see in every woman who does binge is that she keeps going. But at what point, because here's the deal, you're not where you want to be and it's harder than it needs to be. And what I'm going to say may ruffle some feathers tonight, but I don't really give a fuck. I'm here to help you because I know you've got it in you and I know you want help. So that's what we're going to do. So the binge eating, you have to start noticing what triggers it. Ultimately, here's what is at the root of binge eating. It's toxic guilt, toxic shame is what really causes us to be in the addiction to it. And it's just an addiction. It's no different than alcohol, drugging, boozing, sexing, scrolling, shopping, working. Like it doesn't fucking matter. Binging is just an addictive pattern that we create to try and self-soothe and pacify ourselves. For one reason, we think it's making us feel better. We think we're doing it because it's a control mechanism. I had one girl, she said, I literally go on a restrictive anorexia binge where she just won't eat to piss off her husband. Like when her and her dude are having problems, she'll go straight into restricting. She has past things with her father, and here we go. And once you know that you're having these emotions come up and you're doing all this stuff, you have a choice, and you always have had a choice. And I know that a lot of us just didn't understand how to regulate. Here's why. We're not programmed to sit with pain. Think about it. When a baby cries, what's the first thing we do? Oh God, Here, have this, have this, have that, have this, have that. We're trying to just like stop the crying. Now, the baby, a brand new baby, it doesn't have all this trauma shit. It's brand new. So usually it's just cold, hot, has gas, hungry, needs a change, or tired. It's pretty much it. I mean, sure, you could go spiritual, like, the esoteric realms and whatever, but we're not going there right now. The baby is the baby. It doesn't have all these traumas that we have at 40. It's got the things that it brought in with its soul, but you understand what I'm saying. From that point forward, they don't really have a lot of programming going on of like, well, maybe it's and dad left me and now nobody wants me and that means I suck and that means I'm not lovable. Like the baby doesn't even have this ego way of thinking yet. What point did we stop and stop doing that to ourselves? Like when I would get anxiety, it would almost be like, let's stop the anxiety. Let's do something for the anxiety. Let's do the anxiety clearing. Let's just do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Even fitness can be coping mechanism where women will look great online for their mental health, honey, but it ain't healthy. You know why? Because they're going to the gym two times a day. They're running in the morning. They're doing a gym during the day and another one in the evening. You know why? Sure, she's healthy. Oh, she's healthy. It's an addiction. It's how she's coping with everything. It's how she's dealing with everything as she's working out the stress. It's no different than binging. So at what point does it become a problem? It becomes a problem when you feel like shit about it, when you're not getting to your goals any faster. It's actually sabotaging and cock blocking your success. It's causing pain in your body. That's when it becomes a problem. And sometimes you need to just realize, some of us need to just say, hey, here's anxiety. Have I eaten? Have I eaten enough in the past however many hours? Probably need to sit down for 20 minutes and actually eat and chew my food. Do I need to use the bathroom? Do I need to rest? Am I tired? But the trauma, the toxic shame and guilt, the trauma in our bodies, the dysregulated nervous system from where we had chaotic environments growing up, there wasn't a lot of stability. Something shook us and we never recovered. That's what happened. We had a big boo that never recovered. And that's why a lot of women come to work with me in Hot Moms Mastermind in hopes to find that part of themselves and rescue themselves and then learn to raise themselves. And in turn, they lose the weight because they have the right resources and they know how to self-regulate and go within. Not everybody, but most of them. So first, let's just make sure that we are not hungry, tired, gassy, need to eat. Okay, first, let's just start doing that. But this is going to require you to calm the fuck down. Take a deep breath. Just right now, just take a really deep breath. And when you do that, you're here. You're watching this. You're listening to my voice. Where are you? You're in a chair. You're wherever you're at. Notice where you're at. You see, what's happened is you've got all this other shit floating around your nervous system. It's like that. So a lot of us just need to learn how to relax. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be easy? Getting your hormones fixed does help. And this is coming from somebody that I used to take Adderall, caffeine, anything I could get my hands on. I used to drink a lot. I used to overwork. I used to spend money. You name it, I've done it. Now, I have done a lot of plant medicine. Ayahuasca, Kambo, Bufo, and those things like Iboga, all those help addictions. It's scientifically proven now. It helps addictions. I don't take any of that stuff anymore. But I understand what it's like. It's not like you go to the refrigerator, you're getting stressed out, or you're getting triggered or whatever. I understand that you don't want to feel this way, but you're going to have to start being aware. And right now, just in your body and your mind, just state that I am ready to be aware. I'm ready to be aware of my emotions. I'm a safe place now to be aware of my emotions. Can you be someone that you can count on, that your child self can count on? Some of you have to learn this. Some of you have to increase your emotional intelligence. You have to do courses like what we have and start working on this kind of shit. Also, if you have addictive patterns in your coding, it's going to be even harder because it feels so goddamn good. It feels so good to do that. It's just your go-to. Like, you know how hard it is when you're really in it, when you're really in the trauma state, how you're just constantly on your phone, you're constantly scrolling, you're constantly. To stop that, to stop drinking, to stop that is so painful. It's like someone coming off opiates. It's very painful, but that pain's been there the whole time. You just haven't learned to sit with it, and therefore it's pretty big gnarly. But it's because your nervous system can't sit with it, and you don't know how. I had to learn how to sit with things, because sitting with things doesn't mean you're miserable for 5 weeks. It doesn't mean that you cry for 5 days. It doesn't mean any of that. There's techniques to be able to sit through things and let it move through your body and not get stuck. And our brains are programmed just like cheese and milk. People say like, oh, I can't give, oh man, that's going to suck. Yeah, it's going to suck. Dairy is going to suck giving dairy up because it's addictive. It has actual chemicals that stimulate neurotransmitters, y'all. So when you binge eat, when you have that wine, like the chemical response it gives you, that's what you're addicted to. You're addicted to the chemical response. You're addicted to numbing out your pain, but it doesn't fix the pain. So why don't we just teach you how to sit with pain and grow in your emotional capacity? It's like a kid. You remember being a kid? You would look at like a hill or something that you thought was scary, and then you get a little older and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I thought Ronald McDonald was like terrifying. It's like, what? I was so scared of him. Your nervous system got a chance to grow a little bit. And if you do things like energy codes, you'll notice if you go through like the root chakra training and all that stuff, like you grow. The part of us who wants to numb out instead of being present, listen, and I have to work on this every day. It gets better because I know more now. I know more now because I don't sit here and pray for everything to be perfect anymore. And who here's done the neutralizers and clear my shit? I have. Who else does those? Skip today went to do acupuncture and I was like, oh my God, how did it go? And he said, well, he goes, it was great, except when she left, and I sat there for 20 minutes and there was no, like very little music, I'm sure. He said no music, but she plays music, but whatever. We'll say there were no music. And I was like, did you go to sleep? Did you fall into a meditative state? And he goes, oh God, no. I was very uncomfortable because he is so addicted to a lot of stuff. He doesn't sit alone without anything a lot. And y'all know one of my favorite practices is sitting and doing nothing outside and no phone. And you time yourself for 20 minutes. And I remember the day when I couldn't do 5. I remember sitting there on that bank of a pond and I was pissed the fuck off. I was so fucking pissed, A, that I had to sit there because it was good for me. B, that it was only like 1 minute. I'm like, fuck. Have y'all ever seen Eat, Pray, Love? I was literally Julia Roberts when she sat down to meditate and was like thinking about her vacuum cleaners and looked at the clock and it was 2 minutes. She goes, this shit. That was me. To now, if you told me that I could spend all day tomorrow just sitting there in contemplation and walking and contemplating, I'd be like, okay, all day? I mean, whew. The reason I would fear that is because I'm getting emotional thinking about it, is because I know things would come up. But I love and look forward to 20-minute doing nothings. Just contemplating, thinking, allowing myself to breathe, noticing thoughts that come through my head, noticing the feelings, noticing that any feeling that come up. And who here done drugs before? Have you ever had a bad trip on something? And then eventually you make it through and you're like, fuck, I made it through. It's like emotions are like a bad trip. Seriously, the next time you want to binge, just whatever's coming up and you feeling the way you feel, just imagine it's a bad fucking trip and all you got to do is breathe through it. It's going to be over soon. Because that's a fact. It's just an emotion. And you can control your reaction and your thoughts about your emotions. And you can change your mind. Yes, you can. Say it. Yes, I can. Change my mind. You can change your mind. Yeah. You see where I'm going with this. Now, let me read some notes here because I asked one of my coaches, I was like, hey, she's the fitness coach. I'm like, what do you want me to talk about with binging? And she goes, well, how you binge, why you continue to do it, and why you're not making progress, how it adds up. I think we all know this. I'm not here to put more toxic shame into you. You've got enough of that. You kick your own ass way more than I'm going to kick it. I think that you're smart and you're capable and you just didn't know how to feel your shit. What if you just don't know? And that, to me, that's all it is. Now, if you do know and you're just choosing not to do it, then you need a bigger breakthrough. That's why I love plant medicine. You need something else, and something else will get you. Life's going to get you. Something's going to wake you up and shake you up. House going to catch on fire. Somebody's going to die close to you. Shit's going to shake you up, and it's all going to happen to all of us. We're all going to lose people. We're all going to go through shit. You cannot outrun it. It's like that movie Final Destination. So what are you going to do? What if you knew right now all the shit that was coming down your pipes that you had to deal with? Would you just go binge eat for 5 days and then what? And then what? And then no, you'd eventually get tired of binging and go, fuck it, man. Is there a better way? Yeah, let's help you learn how to process this so that you can handle money stuff and get through it and create ways and strategies to never be here again. Let's figure out a way for you to clear this out of your nervous system and set boundaries and learn why you're this way. And did you know that having an eating disorder, which is binging, keeps 12 people busy? Because you're like a pin trigger. When you have an eating disorder, which binge eating is the type of eating disorder, that it keeps 12 people busy around you. They have to walk on eggshells, don't want to piss mom off, don't want to do this because they know what you're going to do. Yeah, it's very toxic. It's not just toxic to you, it's very toxic to your children. But I'm not here to shame you. You already know it's fucking shit up. You already know that. An addict already knows. If you are admitting that you do binge, like, you're ahead of most people. Seriously. Now it's to lessen the episodes. And when you do it, to be more kind to yourself because you're just trying to regulate. And then maybe the things you binge with gets better. Maybe you actually pick up on the neutralizers. Maybe you go to the emotional wheel. Maybe you reach out to our group and say, I'm having a really bad day. Like today, I usually binge tonight. Do you have any suggestions? Help that part of yourself. She's screaming for attention and love. She's screaming for somebody to help her feel better. And you can do that with your mind. And did you exercise? Did you eat well? Do that daily regimen self-checklist. That right there is going to help you a lot. And realizing that the part in you that doesn't feel like it can slow down is the reason why you're binging. That's trauma response. And that's when you need to say, what if I did have enough time? What if I could take my time? This is when you get into the affirmational work and the mind stuff in Hot Moms Mastermind, in First Steps to Freedom, in Bad Bitch membership. You got to start learning about the emotional intelligence and the mindset work. I promise you there's a way. There's a remedy for everything. It's like today's day and age. There's an app for that. It's like AI could do it. Or there's always, if something's fucking hard, it's like there's an app for this. There's a person that can help me with this. It's the same way right now. No matter what you're going through, there is a remedy for it. There's a bigger meaning because I promise you everything on the other side of you quitting this addiction to binging, everything you want's on the other side. And that's what you're really afraid of. You're afraid you're going to fuck it up. You're afraid that your worst nightmare is going to come true. And only you know what that is. What are you so afraid of losing or gaining once you have the body and once you are very successful and once you have the money and once you're that bitch? Once you are that, what are you so afraid of? Rejection? People going to come and hunt you down? You're not safe? Like, there is a belief somewhere that you're going to fuck it all up. And that comes from toxic shame and guilt because of how we grew up. And if you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I had a good childhood, you are so ignorant. Because if you're binging and you say you had a good childhood, like, it's like that fucking show, like, the lie detector test says you a fucking lie. And I get it, but you see how much work needs to be done here? You just need to do a lot more. You got to do the work. But that's what I wanted to say about binging. You know, how it fucks up your hormones. Oh, God. Binge eating fucks up your hormones like no other in your body. I was hungry. I wasn't doing it for emotional. During my show days when I didn't know really a lot about stuff, I knew I could get refeed days and cheat days. I had no idea there was a specific way to cheat. So my bitch ass would go out and I was like full on shit food, sugar food, everything. I'd go all out. I'd eat fucking like almost a whole pan of pizza. And I remember at one point thinking, because I was fucking starving, and I would eat past the point of like full. I remember my belly. I remember feeling so fucking sick. God damn, why do I do this? I wasn't aware about the emotional. Like, I didn't understand how to just stop. But I remember at one point being like, damn, maybe my cheat meals are like a little too much because I'm not fucking making the progress. I'm not getting lean as I thought I was. And I just pulled back because it wasn't no thing to me. I wanted to win. Like, my desire to win was bigger than any fucking pizza or anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I do understand the addictive patterns, y'all. I was the queen of throwing shit in my way to skirt and avoid stuff, but not really. Not really. I look back and see that it had to happen this way, and I felt it and I knew it. So I'm standing there doing my hair, and I had just gotten invited to do public speaking gig at this huge fucking event. Like, when I say huge for the industry, it was a big fucking deal. And I had just gotten invited to do public speaking there. And I'm like, oh my God. Fully just embodying it. Yeah. And I'm standing there. This was in like November. Yeah, like October, November or something like that. And I'm getting ready in the mirror. And I'm feeling so good. You know, when you're just feeling so good, you are high fucking vibing, you are feeling so fucking good. It feels so good. And it's quite a day. If we're going to get addicted to something, that's what I'm chasing, baby. But to have that, you've got to be able to sit with the pain. You're only going to go as high as the lowest lows that you can sit with. Fact. So be sure not to take those SSRIs. I'm just kidding. Because they are emotional condoms. So work with your therapist on getting off those. We have helped a lot of people. They'll work with our doctors and do our program, and they can come off that stuff. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm feeling so good. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, man, I've gotten one of my teeth done. And I think I was going to get my extensions put back in, have long hair. I was so happy with where I was at with business. Things were just so fucking good. When the other shoe thing came in a little bit, but then this was a feeling. This was like, I was sitting there feeling out my future, and I got the worst feeling, and I sat with it and I go, what in the fuck? I kind of got a little upset with myself. I'm like, are you really going to do this again? Have we not processed the other shoe? Like, of course you deserve all this. Of course you're good enough. And I'm like, I know all that, but like, it was almost too overwhelming for me. The amount for me of like success and how things were going were just almost too much for me. But in the back of my mind, 3 years before that, y'all, and I've got proof, I was in masterminds tripping balls, asking, what am I going to do when I make that kind of money? What do you do when you're that successful? What do you do when you're that, like, it scared the fuck out of me, but I still proceeded it, but it scared the fuck out of me. Scared to get the result. I'm like, what's going to happen? Am I just going to lose it? Like when I get the body or whatever, am I just going to gain it all back? When I make the money, am I going to lose it all? What do I do with it? Will I spend it poorly? Like all this shit. Will I go back into debt? All these fears. So that was always in the back of my mind. And here I am, and I'm feeling all this. Well, a month later, house fire happened. You know, lost $250,000 worth of shit. And I didn't have $250,000 sitting aside either. Yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts. And looking back, it's been, the recovery, it's been 3 years. And we tracked it back to when I made a decision to do something with money that, looking back, I probably wouldn't have done, but I had to do it. And this is why I had to do it. Because if I didn't get hurt and I didn't go through this much pain, I wouldn't have changed. I needed something in my life to shake me up that bad to get my attention. Because if it was just a little bit, I don't think I would have changed, because y'all know this. Sometimes we've got to be fucking pushed. And I just wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't that in tune. And I can't describe what it did. Like, it yielded so much more power for me. It threw me into so much more intelligence, and it made me way more resilient, but not in the fact of closing off. Because sometimes people say it's made me more resilient, but they close off. Like, yeah, I'm way more resilient now. I'm a fucking single bitch. I make my own money. Fuck him. Okay, that doesn't sound like your heart stayed open. That sounds like you turned in and said, I'll never date men again. I'll never do this again. That's very immature. Maturity is saying, look what I went through. Imagine what else I can do. Look what I experienced, and I'm smarter for it. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm not the same person as I was. I realized I was vulnerable then. Now I have fucking tools. And I look back and go, game on. And I know in the future it'll just be like right now, because people look at me right now and go, it must be nice, you're lucky and all this. And they don't know what the fuck I've been through to get to this point. I've paid my dues. If you see anybody that seems like you're all trying to do the same thing and they're more successful, they have had their own demons to slay. I know that some of the mentors I work with are the energy they've held. Holy fuck. I'm like, you deserve every fucking penny. I can't, like, fuck. Just what I went through last year with switching over from my old mastermind to this one was hard. And watching what these other women have done, way more brave than I am. It's crazy. It's why they're where they're at. So, talking about binge eating, it gets back to emotional capacity. And so, don't wish for things to be easier. Stop. Because there's no lessons and there's no wisdom that's going to come out of that. You'll get bored and there's no wisdoms and lessons. If you really want to change, if you really want to break through, if you really want that body, if you really want success, you're going to have to be willing to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty. And will I fuck it up again? Will I gain the weight back? Why don't you fuck around and find out? Because you've done it before. You gained the weight back before. What happened back then? Where's the lesson? Where's the wisdom you're going to bring from that last episode into the now? If you'll bring lessons and wisdom with you each time, it'll get better and better and better and better. And you can't do this without emotional intelligence. This is why if you do any programs and it doesn't have emotional intelligence work, doesn't have a trauma-informed approach, you're wasting your time and money. Seriously. So unless you're okay with a mediocre life, most women that work with me and want to work with me are not that. So that's what I want to say about that. So yeah, some great stuff that would help with this would be the vision party. Going and watching the vision party and doing the work in the vision party. Super powerful shit. The neutralizers. If you want any of these resources, any of them, the best way to do it, I would say just get XYZ course. but you may want or need something else. So the best thing to do is just apply, book a 15-minute chat with us. Tell us the truth. Tell us what you want. Tell us what the problems are. We'll tell you what we see as the problem and give you some solutions. You can do some of them or not, and then go from there. I would say to do that versus just go here and buy this course. Trust yourself. Look, if you feel led to one of the links that I posted, the $50 fat loss breakthrough, or maybe the resource questionnaire, if you're on my websites and you want to do the first steps to success or money codes, fine. Go at start. But if you're like, I don't know what, I want all this fixed, I want to do it, I would say to go to caseysship.com/apply and book a call and just ask us. Like literally just say, here's where I'm at, here's what I want, here's what I'm feeling, what do you think I need? And we'll give you a few options so you can choose something that feels good and aligned. But also, don't fucking wait till you feel like you're ready. Don't fucking sit there and think that you don't belong in this room, or you're not good enough, or you need to wait till you have more money. The reason a lot of these women are where they're at is because they did it anyway. And we have payments now. Like we have a way where you can get payments through Affirm and Afterpay. It's ridiculously easy to work with us now. There's that. All right. You know what you need to do. Thanks for sharing this time with me. I know that it's not free, and I know a lot of you's got a lot going on right now. I can already feel your minds going, ah. So do that. Take action. Do not fucking wait. Break the addiction, and everything you want is on the other side. Trust and learn how to dance in the uncertainty. Use these neutralizers. Stay grounded and learn how to regulate.